Alright, hello, and welcome to the fifth video in going through of aggregate supply side policies, where we are going to be talking about immigration policy, where we're going to go through skilled migration, family migration, and special migration. This following on from talking about tax and welfare reform before, previous to that, research and development, subsidies, infrastructure spending, etc., and the aims and purposes of aggregate supply side policy. After this, we've only got one more video. That's going to be about the strengths and weaknesses of aggregate supply side policy. So get hyped, you're almost at the end. One more after this, and this one won't even take long. So let's get straight into it. So we're going to be talking about the effective immigration policies on the labour market and aggregate supply, and the way in which this influences the achievement of the domestic macroeconomic goals. So let's go for it. Lesson 5, immigration policy. So what is immigration policy? So immigration policy is all about people coming from overseas into Australia throughout the year, and the Australian government sets a limit on the amount of people who can migrate into Australia each year. So there's a finite amount of people who are allowed to come into Australia. So these are divided into three main categories, which we'll go through in detail. Well, two of them we'll go through in detail. One's pretty much self-explanatory once you get to the description of it. But there's skilled migration, family migration, and special eligibility migration. So famously, we have a government who may not like letting a lot of people in from overseas. Famously, Scott Morrison has this trophy in his office as Prime Minister, which is a picture of a boat, and it says, "I stopped these" on it, to do with helping stop illegal immigrants from coming into Australia, who were often asylum seekers coming from war-torn countries looking for a better way of life. Why is this picture in there? I really just wanted to show people that maybe we should let more people into our country if they're coming for the right reasons. But to get into the 2021-22 migration planning. So the migration program is designed to achieve a range of economic and social outcomes. In 2021-22, the migration program will have an overall planning level of about 160,000 places consisting of the following streams. So skilled migration is going to have just under 80,000 people or places for people to come in. So the stream is designed to improve the productive capacity of the economy and fill skill shortages in the labour market, including those in regional Australia. So how skilled migration works, and we'll get into it in more detail in the next slide, but essentially skilled migrants are coming to fulfill a job that cannot be fulfilled by an Australian worker. So people within Australia cannot do that job. There's no one who has those skills needed, so we will bring someone in from overseas to fill that job. There is a bit of a myth or misconception with migration that people think migrants are coming in and taking jobs from someone else, but that's not possible under the skilled migration program when they need to be able to prove that that job couldn't be done by someone within our country. There is then about 77,300 places for family migration, which this stream is predominantly made up of partner visas, enabling Australians to reunite with family members from overseas and provide them pathways to citizenship. And then lastly, there's 100 places for special eligibility, which covers visas for those in special circumstances, including permanent residents returning to Australia from a period overseas. So they're the different types that we have. Then, to get into skilled migration in more detail. So this is used to fill skill shortages in the Australian labour market, divided into a few main categories. So we've got general skilled migration, which is for workers who do not have an employer sponsoring them, but are selected based on their nominated occupation, their age, skills, or qualifications, their English language ability, and their employability. So they might work in an industry where we desperately need workers, and therefore they can meet that criteria to come over and be expected to get a job in that industry. There's employer nomination, which is for an employer willing to sponsor someone from overseas to come in and fulfill a vacant spot that they need to fill in their business. There's business skills migration, which encourages successful business people to settle in Australia and develop new business opportunities. This is kind of us trying to dangle a carrot to business people from overseas, being like, hey, come start a business in Australia, employ some Australian people, and then make us more productive here. And then lastly is distinguished talent, which is for a small category for distinguished individuals with special or unique talents to benefit Australia, such as sports people, musicians, artists, designers, and those who are internationally recognized as being outstanding in their fields. So this is especially bringing people for their particular talents or skills to work in Australia. Then we've got family migration. So the family stream of the migration program provides for the migration of immediate family members for Australian citizens, permanent residents, or eligible New Zealand citizens. Family members admitted under this stream include partners or fiancés, dependent children, parents, orphan relatives, and age-dependent relatives or carers. So recent migration data information. So driving the fall in population growth is a sharp reduction in net overseas migration. So last year or so, because of COVID, we have had next to zero migration into Australia. We've mainly had people leaving Australia. We've actually had a drop in our population. So this is forecast to be negative for the first time in 75 years due to the very low level of arrivals as a result of international border restrictions, while departures of temporary residents continue. So a lot of people are leaving Australia to go back to their home countries during COVID times, as there's so much uncertainty around it, but also we are not allowing as many people in because of these international border closures. This is likely to constrict aggregate supply in Australia as there's less skill shortages being filled, and the labour force is likely to be less efficient overall. So we might have people with mismatched skills working in positions, therefore they're less likely to be as efficient or productive, and therefore that limits our productive capacity and constricts our aggregate supply overall. And that's essentially it. So what we are doing with migration policies, we're trying to get skilled migrants into the country to fill positions where they are going to be more productive overall. So they are going to come in. Their labor is going to be incredible because we need that skill, and it's going to help increase our productive capacity, our efficiency, and improve our overall output. And that is essentially it for migration. There's not a lot to it. It's pretty simple at the moment because there hasn't been a lot of migration, although we are planning for it in future, especially as vaccinations continue and increase. So you've done it. You're smarter now. Hopefully that's great. If you need any other assistance at all, head to my website, www.therunningeconomy.com, or email me at sean@therunningeconomy.com. There's going to be one more video coming up very, very soon. I hope you're doing great. Other than that, have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.